Guys, welcome back to another speed build. If you're new here, this is what I do, is Sims 4 speed builds, so I hope that's what you're in the mood for, so cozy on up. Today we are in San Myshuno, which this is the first apartment, so we're doing an apartment renovation. It's the first apartment renovation I have done in San Myshuno with the city living expansion pack. I've done, I think, just one, and I didn't share it here on the channel, but I've done one in the Evergreen Harbor. I don't think it's Evergreen Harbor, but in the new apartments we got with Eco Lifestyle. So this is my first time doing an apartment renovation in city living, and it was different. The tall walls are an interesting style choice. And this one, by the way, it is a custom content build. So if you're on console, I'm very, very sorry if you don't use custom content because your computer can't handle it. Oh my, this is not the build for you. I hope you enjoy watching it, but I will not recommend downloading it if you have a computer that is even slightly on the edge of handling custom content, because I wanted to do a boho style apartment. And there were some things I really wanted for this apartment. There were some things I had seen on Tumblr that I wanted, some cute little CC, but also I wanted some certain style of rugs and things. And one thing led to another, and I downloaded all the CC, and then it felt like I used it all in this build. The CC list is very long, and it took me forever to find all those links, so I hope you all enjoy them. I hope you find some good custom content. If you are someone who builds with custom content, I did find a lot of really cute stuff. Like, I am all about this cheese tray and this wine bottle. I'm all about all the cute stuff I found for the kitchen. You'll see as I start to clutter up this kitchen, I went with a lot of plants. This was the thing, I didn't need to download more plants. I already have a lot of CC plants. Honestly, we have a good amount of plants in the game with expansions and stuff packs, but I can never have enough plants, so I downloaded even more. But I really do like this plant rack I found from Syncredible. I felt like it worked really well in this build. And I just really like how, with the one thing I really appreciate besides kitchens, because we are really lacking in kitchen counters, and that is the clutter items from CC. I felt like I really got to make this feel lived in, because with all the different items you really get to create a scene. And so here I have with the vintage mixer and the cute blueberry muffins, and that's just stuff we have some stuff like that in debug, but not really. And even sometimes just a good recolor, this is a Maxis item, but not Maxis, I guess EA item, this mug rack, but sometimes it's nice to just have something in more colors. So CC takes a lot to download, it takes a lot to run, it can cause problems in your game. I understand all the arguments against using CC, but it is really fun to build with every now and then. I will always do no CC builds. I only do custom content. You don't know what I'm talking about. CC is custom content that you put in your Sims 4 game. I will always do non-custom content builds because honestly custom content builds take forever, but they're really fun to do every now and then. I do really enjoy them. I love this vintage fridge. I love the feel. I feel like I get to express myself ever so slightly more with a custom content build, but they do take a really long time. But I did enjoy this one. But there are some weird quirky things about these apartments, the tall walls, both in making it slightly difficult to build, especially when I was going back there, I realized it was really sometimes hard to get paintings at the right level, or even to tell that they're the right level, and just I feel like it's a weird design choice. Also, these apartments are huge. I don't think when I was laying out the floor plan I really realized the dimensions of this apartment until I went to decorate, and definitely the living room, especially the way I'd laid out the floor plan. I didn't really want to change it at that point, but the living room was huge, so you'll see what I do here in a second, but I feel like it ended up being a little bit weird. But I did have fun with this. I feel like I got to express the personality of the people who live here a little more. Like we have, like, I like the idea that they were someone who like really enjoyed hosting and that they were getting ready for a party, and they've got all these like homemade goods, got this fresh vegetables ready to cut up for a salad. Kind of in my mind, they had made this bread themselves. They're working on these blueberries muffins, and I feel like there's a little bit more of an ability to like tell a story here. So I just feel like I mean, obviously a lot of that comes through gameplay in The Sims, but I feel like there's still so many of the items, even like in gameplay, kind of look the same when you're not using custom content. So I don't know, this was fun. I feel like I got to express some style, got to mix in some stuff. But I am recording this on Wednesday. And if you're watching this week and you pay attention to Sims 4 stuff at all, you will know that this is the week we got the announcement of the new game pack, which there had been an icon leaked, the game pack icon leaked a couple weeks ago. So there had already been a lot of speculation that it was, and I hope I'm not spoiling this for anyone, but it's Saturday by the time you're watching this, so surely you've already heard about this, but and it's just an announcement that the next game pack coming out is Star Wars themed. And I know there are a lot of people who are like legitimately excited about that. I know I have some mutuals on Twitter and around that are very excited about Star Wars, but I do not count myself amongst them. It looks good. I will say this, like the pack, like what they showed in the trailer looks really well done. It looks, I have two minds of it, because what they showed, like the animations and everything that they showed looked very high quality. The world looked really cool. The bar looked really cool, but it's also all Star Wars. And so it also all feels kind of cheap to me, because it feels like they just kind of like, there's no like innovation there. You're just using Star Wars stuff. So it rubbed me a little bit the wrong way there. Also, I mean, the whole theme of Star Wars is super, it's not really post-apocalyptic, but it's sci-fi, you know? So it's for those people who do more like post-apocalyptic sci-fi, like that kind of style of builds, like it looks like it's going to be really good for like build buy. But for me, like I much more prefer these realistic builds, and I much more prefer to do, even if I'm not going to do realistic, if I was going to do something fantasy, I much more prefer like a castle, cottage, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings type fantasy than sci-fi. So it just kind of looked to me like I think I'm going to struggle to find much like reason to buy it, which is fine. I will save that money. I will carry on. It's not like that deeply disappointing to me. It feels a little, I really would love a farming pack. I started this week because I haven't been feeling super well and kind of like low energy and didn't really have the mental energy to put into building, and I was just messing around and got nostalgic and decided to re-download The Sims 3 and started playing around with it. And most of it's interesting because I think some of the things I missed from The Sims 3, like I remember when I got back into The Sims 4, I really missed creative style. After playing around a bit with The Sims 3, we're not missing much with creative style. It makes some horrible things. Oh, here, just hold that Sims 3 thought. I just want to talk about what I did there on the wall, because I did use the tool mod here to lift that rug up as a painting, which I'm super excited about that. I see myself doing that more, because when you use the tool mod, which for those of you who's not familiar, it's the take objects off lot mod, but it lets you rotate and resize and move things where in ways that the game doesn't normally like rotate them. So you can rotate a rug like this and put it on the wall. But I always feel so limited with artwork, even in CC, because I'm a little picky about trying not to use stuff that's obviously unlicensed artwork and non-original, which limits what I have for CC artwork. I'm finding more and more, but it's taken a little while. But being able to use rugs as decor is a really, I feel like, opens up some really cool possibilities. And other, I mean, you could use other items too, but that's a really neat use. I'm not into like building, I think that my next build may have a little bit of this, but I'm not into like building the whole structure with tulle like some people do, and I'm like, you can make some amazing details, but for me it is really great for those like small adjustments, but adding a little bit more options in artwork that way, I feel like is going to be a really neat way to use it. Just to go back to the build for a second in my Sims rant, you'll see here, I think I talked a little bit, I struggled with this living room and how big it was. So it kind of ends up having this library area. And here's a moment where I wished I could cut rugs in half because I really like this rug, but it's a little bit big. But I do feel like these apartments are just like massive, like compared to like a normal sized apartment. So there's a lot of CC in here just because I feel like I had a lot of areas I had to fill in. Part of it was my own floor plan. I could have not made the floor plan this way. I definitely realized, but kind of as I was more into building, that I could have easily gotten, I mean, it's already technically like it's 2 bedrooms and a study. I could have got a 4-bedroom in here, which is crazy to me. Like, I live in a big city and 4-bedroom apartments do not exist, really. Like, this is a 4-bedroom, 2, well, actually everything here has a lot of bathrooms, but like 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments. And I think this is one of the smaller ones, honestly. This is 930 Medina Studios. I hadn't said that yet, but yeah, these are really big apartments. But anyway, back to my Sims 3 story. I've been playing around with The Sims 3, which is interesting because I feel like I've both like de-nostalgized some of those things like creative style that I really missed when I started playing The Sims 4. I do think creative style is not that great. It turns out I don't miss it the way I thought I did. Like, sure, it's great to have that flexibility, but it's almost like I was talking about with building with CC. There's a cost to that flexibility, and I don't think the cost is worth it in creative style. And the styles aren't that, I just no. Like, I think I'm officially announcing myself as not a creative style fan. I don't want it back. I do want better skin tones in The Sims 4 for sure, but there are some things that we don't need, and I think creative style and cars. I don't care about the cars. I really do not. I know there was some cool gameplay with like the car you could fix up, and I guess that would be fine, but like I do not care about cars. Maybe it is because I live in a city. Maybe it's just because I'm a person who doesn't like cars in general. I do not care. Do not want them. Do not care. But what I do really realize is that there are so many, and obviously like there's the whole Sims 3 store, which is a weird thing, but there are so many like styles of furniture that we don't have in The Sims 4. I realized just playing around with Sims 3, like the like cheap fridge in there is like a kind of older vintage fridge. There's a lot of like vintage furniture you could get from the store, and I feel like I realized like everything in The Sims 4 has this weird kind of, and maybe it's the cartoony look of The Sims 4, which I also, that's one thing I think I do prefer. I think it just, the things in The Sims 3 feel, even with better graphics now, running it on a fast computer, feel really thin. So I think I've come to appreciate the blockiness of Sims 4, but I realized like we're really missing some like good vintage furniture. Maybe that's why so much of this build ends up being CC, because there's not a lot in the style. Like we have a lot, I mean, we have a lot of mid-century modern stuff, but mid-century modern to me, we have that modernized mid-century modern for the most part. I feel like even the stuff in Get Famous feels like it's like IKEA mid-century modern, you know what I mean? Like it's not actually the more vintage, like, and I don't know how anyone really does. I need to go look at people who have done the history challenge in Sims 4, because I feel like there's some textures and some styles that are really now in The Sims 3 realized that it would be really nice to have here. Like the open world, I think I can live without it. I do feel like maybe the gameplay was a little bit more like cohesive in The Sims 3. It feels like the packs in The Sims 4, even though in some ways, like, yeah, it's nice that like you can go back and forth between worlds, which makes them feel a little more integrated, but also feels like maybe things are less integrated. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really just want, part of the reason I'm so disappointed by this Star Wars pack, and like I said, disappointed, take with a grain of salt, because it's not, it just affects whether or not I'm gonna buy it, and that's not that big a deal, and there are much bigger problems in the world, but like, I really would love a farming pack. I would love to have a pastorally, like, small hobby farm. Let's call it that, hobby farm, not like large scale industrial problematic farming, but like a hobby farm pack. I want to own some happy cows and some chickens and sell some eggs to my neighbors in The Sims 4. But instead, we get to go on this nonsensical voyage to, I forgot the name of the planet, but and it just doesn't, like, it's so weird to me how, because even, okay, Strangerville has its own storyline, and I confess I haven't played through it. I got that one fairly recently, and I've said before, I actually am very bad about gameplay, which is why for me, I think it's gonna have to come down to like what isn't build and buy, because the gameplay probably was never gonna sell me, so I don't think I'm like in any way, because I think this pack is definitely aimed at people who like that Strangerville story type gameplay, which is 100% not me. If I do play gameplay, I want to own a bakery or a restaurant or something like that's dine out kind of get to work is much more my jam than like if I can own the bar on whatever the name of the, I really forgot the name of the planet, you guys. But if I can own a bar there, I'll probably be way more excited about it. But it's just weird. The whole thing is weird. Like the Sims exists in its own like weird Sims universe that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't have a lot of rules. Like, it has lore, but like doesn't have a lot of rules if you really think about it. But like mixing Star Wars into it, and as someone has pointed out, it's not like really Star Wars either, because it kind of exists in its non-canonical form. Is just, I don't know. It's just, that's how I feel about it. And I know it's just a trailer, and I'm probably prejudging it, but I just was really hoping for anything other than Star Wars, so I'm a little disappointed today. And I'm sorry that I've gone on for almost this whole recording just about the new pack release. I don't normally do that. I do normally stick pretty close to the build, but I feel like because this one's apartment, I don't have as much to say about it other than I will kind of talk through the style. Now I've talked over the whole thing. We'll talk you through here at the end of my kind of like thoughts on the style I was going for here, which was a little bit very much like boho inspired. Had kind of this like green and orange palette, which I know is so like trendy right now, but also like I do really deeply adore this palette in my heart. So I don't know if that just means I'm really basic, but oh, this honeybee, we already got past the honeybee embroidery, but that was my favorite, even though I think I'm probably pushing my limits on like non-licensed artwork here, but I'm hoping that this person did enough altering that we're going to call this fair use. But I love this idea that the sim had like collected honeybee embroidery, and this is what I'm saying, where I feel like I can have like some more little creative touches with CC that I don't get with some of the base game content. It lets you have a little bit more freedom. Obviously you get a lot more choice in linens and stuff. You pay for that choice by the lagginess and downloading and all that pain that is CC, but it's fun to build with now and then. But so this build has the 2 bedrooms. One I can't imagine is this one being like their master suite, and then the other one being their guest bedroom. Kind of like a very fancily done up guest bedroom, because as we've already been over, this apartment is huge and that bedroom was huge. I'm gonna say I have an office and 2 bedrooms in here, and they're still pretty well sized. Like there's a walk-in closet, and like 2 very well sized bathrooms, which is fun. I do enjoy having the slightly larger bathrooms. They're much more fun to decorate. Also, cluttering is so much more fun with the CC like bathroom clutter. We have very little bathroom clutter in base game. Like we just have like that basket and that one set, and all of it's like very older style for the most part. We have that one cool shelf from Tiny Living I think I stick in every bathroom because that's basically what we get. But so the apartment has a lot of plants, a lot of plants, and very much like I was saying, this idea that the sim who lived here kind of like really enjoys that self-sustaining lifestyle, but they live in the big city, so she's trying to kind of like bring the outdoors in her tiny apartment. I don't know how in real life you would keep that many plants alive. I'll be honest, they must hire someone to come and water their plants. But we are coming up towards the end of the build here. We're gonna finish up with the office I was talking about, which this is where it like reverts back to being like the most, this room is the most Maxis of all of them, but I did get to use some of this fun new desks from Eco Lifestyle. And it turns out I really love this wall hanging from Vampires. There's a lot of build stuff in Vampires I love, which is the only thing that's giving me hope for that new pack. But I do want to thank you guys for joining me. Like I said, I'll be back next week with a no custom content build and probably less rambling about how not excited I am about packs. I did just pass 100 subscribers, and that is crazy, and so I just want to thank you guys for watching, for subscribing. If you could leave me a comment, let me know what you're thinking about the new pack, or how you feel about plants if you don't want to talk about it anymore. But thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the build tour at the end, and have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.